Welcome to the Book Bites podcast, brought to you by Spines, where today we're biting into The Flame of Serenthos, written by Jaye Ramanan. An epic sci-fi adventure about five cousins, each with a unique gift, who join together, calling themselves the Mighty Five, as they liberate 21 galaxies from tyranny. I'm your host, Omri Rose, and first and foremost, Jay, welcome to Book Bites.
Thank you. Thank you, Omri. It's such a pleasure to be doing this. If you want me to start from the beginning, I've been writing children's stories for the past 5-6 years once my grandchildren were born. And then it's their imagination, their stories of every night, like the Arabian Night stories. I keep the suspense alive every night, and then we continue the next day. So
Amazing.
this was born with my 5 grandchildren. The youngest one was not available to talk, but then the rest of them wanted to conquer the constellations and the galaxies and everything. I said, okay, here we go. So the tagline for every story of mine is going to be kindness, acceptance, love, and unity. Every story will derive at those taglines at some point or the other.
Great. I mean, you have 5 cousins and they're saving 21 galaxies. You know, most people, when they're writing books, they usually try to keep things a little smaller. Where did the scale come from? Was that always the vision, or did it just kind of keep growing? Did you start with 1 cousin and 2 galaxies?
Yes. I believe that each one of us have a very strong potential that is still untapped into. Some of them are good. And then if we focus on the good and the positive energy, I think we can win the world and create this world to be a better place than what we are facing for centuries right now. So the book says it's not to conquer the galaxies and then become heroes there. It is to bring harmony, peace, justice, and democracy to everything. So I love that idea. And then when I bounced it back with multiple layers of kids at kindergarten, schools, and bookstores, the idea went flying well. So I decided that that's what I'm going to use in my storyline.
And it grew and grew. Yeah. Wow. So when you're coming up with like the different names and the numbers, are you consciously thinking of them as specific meanings behind them? Like the number 21, for instance.
21 galaxies was, they all were born from kids' mouths, different names for the galaxies that they couldn't pronounce. And then we put letters to it to make it happen. And these are the galaxies. Of course, you need a villain. So at every juncture, there are villains, and the 5 cousins whose good work, love, and harmony conquers the whole thing. And of course, you could have seen the 5 superheroes that they are attached to. So each one, for example, Carlo is a huge dreamer. When he dreams, he makes things, he visualizes it and make it happen. Such an abstract dreamer, and I love him. And my second one is Austin, who is a mathematical genius at the age of 5 and strategizes. And just to give you a small example, he will do how many seconds are there in a year and how long will it take to go from one galaxy to the other. So he is the mathematical strategist in this story. And of course, our Violet is a healer. She's a 4-year-old, and everyone knows that she's the mom in school, preschool, giving snacks to people. If somebody is hurt, to go sit next to them. So we brought the healing point with her. And Ronan is a quick-witted, ready to fight, feisty guy. So we gave him that part of it. But then, cool it, buddy. You need to work with all the arts to get where you want to go. And little Adya spreads joy, and she's like, smile, smile all the time. So I brought that in there, and she brings joy to everyone that they meet on their journey through the 21 constellations.
I love it. And you actually touched a question that I was going to ask about the different gifts. You know, a lot of them are kind of, they make sense, you know, when you think of the classic hero journey and the tools you need to defeat evil. But that idea of joy and laughter is a special one. Do you think that we need joy and laughter to defeat evil in the world?
It is. Because when I go read, for example, in the kindergarten school or the preschool, The minute you just bring, oh, she giggled and she laughed, the whole class will burst into laughter. It's such a contagious thing. And I think we need to bring it more, even with adults. I think as we grow older, we forget to laugh. Yes, the burden of responsibility, everything weighs heavier on us. But at the same time, if you only know how to be childlike and laugh, we might take a few moments. And I was reminded by another podcast that I was listening to by a Japanese author who says any fight, the minute you say the word ma, that means silence. Let's calm down, let's get collected, and then go think about how you want to deal with the situation. So I do a lot with the kids too at home, the tantrum, the little manifestation of anger, frustration. Okay, guys, ma time, everybody.
Nice. So the book is built around these five cousins, and it's a decision. Cousins, not strangers, not a random team,
No.
but a family. What was the decision behind that rather than, say, making them friends or classmates?
When we did a vacation last year in Mexico, in Tulum, and I saw the five of them reacting with each other. It was an amazing observation, I'm going to say, whether it's at the pool trying to help each other out, or quick-wittedness, or somebody jumping in without letting the other person know. I'm like, this is something I want to bring to other kids too. So how you could be kind and nice and still have fun. It's not that we need to fight for candies. It's not that you need to fight for that one last piece of bacon, but you can still work at it. So Carlo, if I want to give you an example, is he will take a piece of bacon and literally split it into 5 pieces and then share it with each one of them. So those are some of the endearing qualities I thought that should be brought to the limelight. So when I asked the kids, I said, do you want me to use imaginary names, or you want me to put you guys on the book? Oh, please, please, please write a book about us. Please write a book about us. So that's how it was born. And I, of course, took the permission from the parents to use their real names and everything. So.
Wow. So the kids are all named after your grandkids.
Yes.
That's incredible.
They are as they are. Yeah.
Wow. That's really special. And that also answers another question of the variety of names. So you have a very diverse variety of names, and also in your grandkids. That's great.
Yeah, because my children are in the interracial marriages. Of course, we love them, and every one of them they bring their own specialty into the family network, and we are very, very close-knit family. And someday I want to write about my daughters-in-law and my son-in-law or something like that. So it is really an amazing family that I'm so proud to say. And I wish every family is like that. I also counsel. So that is another idea for me to bring these factors, because most of the families and the broken families that I see is the family is so frayed, and the kids are not properly explained that they are not part of the problem. We bring them as adults into the problems, and to live their life not childish, but childlike, and enjoy this innocence, the curiosity, dreaming big. So that's what I wanted to focus on.
Nice. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And with such a diverse family, this next question is going to be a doozy, maybe.
Yes.
So when you're writing, what's your brain fuel of choice? Is it going to be American coffee, British tea, French wine, maybe whiskey?
A little bit of everything, because I'm going to spill a secret on you. I'm a master's in English and psychology, so I wrote a book for adults. It is If Shakespeare, Milton, and Johnson Meet, because I'm a huge Renaissance fan.
Wow.
So it is called A Cup of Rain and the Clash of Quills. So we tried to see, with all the modern amenities and the technology, how would they steer through life, and they still fight, and how things would be brought to the world. One being an essayist, one being a dramatist, one being a poet. And I'm an ardent fan of Milton, so I had to bring him in to everything I write. So it's a lot of, I would say, I don't want to bring a lot of British comedy, because it's very wry and it gets above the head for most of the people. So I want to keep it simple, at the same time direct the point. Does that answer your question?
Well, I mean, I was asking what your superpower is for fueling your writing, whether it was drinking tea or drinking wine, but it's a lovely
It's
inspiration
drinking
too.
coffee.
Drinking coffee. Okay, that's
Drinking
your
coffee.
superpower
Colombian
of choice.
coffee.
Ooh, good. You're bringing so many different cultures into this. It's great.
Yes, yes.
Was there any alternative book titles that you played with before you settled on the one that I had trouble pronouncing before we started?
Yes, I tried to do one which just went to Spines. Is called the Araf and Maya's Pirate Adventure. So
Okay.
I toyed with that for a while, and then Austin, who is an avid reader, wanted a very long book. So it started out with 10 chapters. Now I just sent the manuscript with 60 chapters, and it's like a trilogy. So it went
Wow.
that way. And the other book I wrote for the kids is I see in schools how the teachers are struggling to bridge the diversity among the children, and the children are unaware of that. So I took upon a field trip that I went to with one of the grandkids, and how we sat under a friendship tree to talk about individual religion at home, or what they talk about, and how we all could be sensitive to each other and celebrate each other's victory, and be together. And there is a autistic child who paints phenomenally well, and there is a little child with a leg injury, could not climb. So one of them will sit with them and read. So the teacher finally, she said, this is what it is. So at down below the friendship tree, they all take an oath by saying that we are going to be tolerant, and also accepting each other and learning from each other to create a better future. And this is the friendship tree, is our, what do you call it, like a tribute to the friendship tree. So that is coming up next.
That's beautiful. It's healing the world. There's a theme that I sense. It's the blending of peoples and healing.
Yes.
Would you say that's a theme in your writing?
That is what is keeping my writing. That's what I do most of the time. I'm also a psychologist, and when I do my family counseling is predominantly wounded children, affected children through domestic violence. That's what I deal with. So more than being there for in the center of who's right and what is right, I say strengthen yourself and get the children out of this mess. Because they don't deserve to be treated the way we are treating them today, bringing into the problems, because they are not the problem. Again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So most of my writing, all my work, I also work with girls around the world, predominantly in Southeast Asia as a global director. And the idea is to educate them, give them a voice, and be themselves, ask questions, be curious, learn. And it's not that you want everything, you don't want a Gucci bag or something like that. There's nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, can you be happy with whatever you have and take it further? So that's one story, if I want to tell you. There is a little city called Kolhapur in India where they take the leather and they make the very basic sandals, which used to sell for 80 rupees, which is less than $1 here, okay? Today, Prada bought it, and the same sandals now sells for $1,200. So I work with them. We connect them to the global platform, and then some big guys will come and get them over, which I'm not too happy. But at the same time, if some proceeds, I fight with Prada to bring proceeds back to the community, so where we could educate them, where we could put toilets for the children so that they can freely go to school, make roads safe so that they can walk around, play. So that's what I've been doing since 2013 in Southeast Asia predominantly.
Wow.
And that's also another theme for my stories, because every character is something I have interacted with, I have worked with, the parents that I have spent copious amount of time asking questions and learning about the communities, for example, in northern Vietnam or in Cambodia or in Thailand, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, wherever I go, and also in Peru. I work with the Inca group of people there. And last year we were in Argentina. Tell me how we could be part of nature. So it is, I think, all this travel and nature, and I want to bring everything back to the child who might never have an opportunity to go visit those places. For example, the cousins running off the plank on looking at Iguazu, 14 kilometers. Oh my God, is the 14 kilometers I'm going to run? So create that curiosity. Then they take a book
Right.
or go to Google and learn about that particular process.
Sure. So coming back to the Flame of Serenthos, when you were writing it, all of these experiences of traveling must have helped you when you were coming up with creating all these different galaxies. What was the biggest challenge when you were creating such a vast world?
It was easy to go back to old books and then read Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, and then bring a thread of everything. And I'm like, no, I don't want to bring them. People already know about the capacities, but then we want to these superheroes to dig deep into what the kids' potential are. For example, if you see Ariola with Carlo, he is a bigger dreamer and he enables Carlo to weave bigger dreams. And then together they say, oh, it can be achieved. It can be there. Oh my God, that is a fantastic dream, Carlo. And he's a peacemaker. Whereas Austin is constantly rigid about his strategies and his mathematical calculations and everything. Carlo is like, let's talk to the three bad people, the cloaked men. Oh, we can bring them on. If you break them, we can get them onto the good side. So that logic in an abstract world is what Ariola does with Carlo. If I give you an example. And Kai is usually a mathematician. So immediately, even before Austin could ask a question, yeah, let's sit down and calculate the distance between the two galaxies, how long it's going to take, and what the weather is going to be like. So immediately they chart out a map, and then they are mathematically calculating distances. So I made the superheroes work with the kids' psyches. That's what I
Right.
did.
And is there one thing you really wish that people would know or understand or take away from reading the book?
Takeaway from reading is learn, understand, appreciate the diversity, and be part of the diversity.
Nice. So what's next? Do the Mighty Five have more galaxies to save?
Yeah, galaxies are saved. Now the Mighty Five will take an oath under the friendship tree. And then we also touched upon the evil eye, that the kids were worried about the little trinkets and all the talisman that people buy. So whenever there is a question asked, my mind goes into a spin. So I start thinking about it and putting into small cheat sheets, and then I expand on that. For example, now we are doing the 12th chapter of Wizard. What is a wizard? Why should it entice the children? What is the takeaway from that? Even the wizard is teaching them magic is nothing but bringing people together. I bring all kinds of people. For example, in the pirate adventure, there is a small guy from Turkey that they befriend. And there is a saint that they meet in India. And there is a sage that takes them around the Inca village, or they will go around Tierra del Fuego. Somebody else is helping them.
Right.
So it's constantly someone other than who they are.
That's great. It's a wonderful note to end on. So, Jay,
Yes.
I wanted to say thank you so much for joining us at Book Bites from Spines. You can find The Flame of Serenthos on Amazon. And if you want to hear extended interviews, some guests join us on Book Bites Deep Dive. So until next time, follow Book Bites, leave us a review, and happy reading.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Omri. It was a pleasure
Thanks,
talking
Jay.
to you.
Thanks, Jay.